Did you really think I'd stop talking about Nimona? Bold of you to assume I would. Although, now that I have your attention, another video will be coming about the changes. In this video, I talk about 6 changes, but there is another article that I saw about more changes from the book to the movie, so I just wanted to point that out and stuff. So, yeah, enjoy the video. There's another Nimona video coming after this, but this one's about 6 differences, while the other one has a whole bunch of things I'm gonna be talking about, like the tropes and stuff. I'm in that video though. I'm only gonna be listening to film tropes because the cartoon, the graphic novel has a lot more. Oh, the camera fell. Ha ha ha. Not the cartoon. The comic book has more tropes than the movie, which is a bit weird. But you can kind of see a bit of a cliche thing in the comic, like when Ballister and Ambrosius see each other, like, we meet again, my mortal enemy. So, here are all 6 differences from Nimona's book and Nimona's movie.
Celebrate the rejects. Hey, eviscerate the precepts. Power is the thesis. Power.
So, I would say for number 1, Ballister being completely different would be a big change. Ballister's name is not Ballister Boldheart, not Blackheart. And here's the way I see it. The Ballister in the comic is not the Ballister in the movie, because this Ballister is so woo-woo innocent. He don't want to hurt anybody. And then the Ballister in the comic, he just got issues, okay? His boyfriend chopped his arm off, well on purpose, actually. See, we're gonna get into that much later on. See? That's the next thing we're getting into. So, in the movie, as we all know, Ballister's arm gets cut off after he got bowed by the queen, but then his sword shoots a laser and it kills the queen, and, he tries to disarm the threat, and he literally disarms Ballister, but in the comic, Ambrosius is more conceited and selfish, and not like the one in the movie, which we love the one in the movie. So, in both versions of Nimona, the underlying impetus behind Ballister's mutilation ostracization is the sinister director of the institution who sabotages him so he won't rise to power. In the comic, this seems based more on optics, as Goldenloin looks and sounds more like the ideal knight, even if he's less noble. In the movie, her motivation is explicitly about suppressing the commoner class in favor of the aristocrats. So there's that.
Sounds from the underground, loud, proud, doing what I please when I need. I'm a rude boy. Future on my mind. I'm leaving the past behind.
Ambrosius has a far more different story from the book than in the movie. Sorry about that. They changed his, backstory. So, in the aforementioned Christmas special, there was a Christmas special? Alright, anyways. He's presented as a poor kid, scrawny, and bullied by the other would-be knights in training. The toxically bro-y knight taught from the film might be born from these boys, as he's not in the comics, which that's a thing we might get into later in the other video, because certain characters aren't in the movie like I thought they'd be. So in the movie, he's actually a descendant of Gloreth, who is basically like the god of this universe in a way, because she's the knight who, made the walls happen and protected the kingdom, which we will get into much later in other videos. So while this change to Goldenloin's lineage makes for a greater dramatic tension between the two knights, the movie also makes more concrete the love story that was implied for much of the comic. When the two are introduced in the movie, which begins before the graphic novel story does, they are clearly boyfriends, speaking openly about their relationship and love, and they even share a kiss, which I didn't notice in the beginning of the movie, so there's that. In contrast, the comic, which was aimed at older audiences than the PG movie is, begins with Ballister already wounded both physically and psychologically. While there are flashbacks to their time before, they're focused on the disarming event. In the present, the pair speak with yearning, but it's mixed with a lot of anger and resentment that prevents the ardent affection or expression seen in the movie adaptation.
Can't stop me now.
So, this is a thing I have mentioned in my rant about Nimona, not rant, my ramble about Nimona, that Nimona's backstory is different from the movie, and in my other video, I will be mentioning that more, but to give you a bit of a bit of a sneak peek, Nimona in the comics was actually a science experiment, while the Nimona in the movie was already a shapeshifter. So now that I've glossed over that, we're gonna talk about Gloreth now, which is, not the final thing. Actually, it is the final thing we're talking. Wait, no. Nope. The final thing we're talking about is the ending. So we're gonna talk about Gloreth now, and then the ending. Gloreth is mentioned in the book by this character called Blitzmare, who we'll talk about in the other video. Blitzmare said that Gloreth fought a giant serpent, or great serpent, that villagers said could change its size and form, which could also take human form. They say it couldn't be harmed with a sword or an arrow, she explained, which for Ballister connects to why Nimona could survive her head being chopped off. The battle between this scaled beast and Gloreth is only shown in 2 panels, with its ending uncertain. Blitzmare notes that conspiracy theorists believe the beast didn't die, but took Gloreth's place. The movie opens with Nimona recounting a version of this story, noting that Gloreth's victory led to the rise of an elite force of knights, setting up the class system with their descendants destined to become the ruling class. Later, the film shows, and this is a big spoiler, that the confrontation between Nimona and Gloreth, but it doesn't go down like this lore, or the corresponding statue in the film might suggest. It turns out, 1,000 years before, Gloreth was a little girl who was playing near a wishing well when Nimona found her. The shapeshifter changed her form to a girl to match this could-be friend, and the two got along great, even after Gloreth learned Nimona's true identity. But then, of course, when they went to Gloreth's village, you know, they're all like, "Oh my God, monster!" And then Nimona got upset. Although they do, imply this when Nimona's telling her lie to Ballister. In the movie, she tells him, "I was a kid, cute, innocent little me. I was playing in the woods, following the birds flying, the fish swimming, the deer bounding. They all looked so happy together, but I was alone. That's when I heard it, a song calling me, leading me to a wishing well." The later flashback to her time with Gloreth shows her flying with the birds, swimming with the fish, bounding with deer, but always being ultimately abandoned for not fitting in. Then she found Gloreth by a well, and her wish for a friend was granted until ignorance and prejudice pulled them apart. So the ending for the graphic novel is very different than the one in the movie. So Ballister has to use his science know-how from Blitzmare against Nimona to save her, and though it does work, his betrayal cuts deep, even with a heart-to-heart attempt at reconciliation. That's in the book. So in the movie, though, he just, he's like, "Bro, you're not alone. I got you." In both the movie and graphic novel, Ballister and Ambrosius are reunited. Ballister is redeemed to the kingdom, his good name is restored, and rumors of Nimona's demise have been greatly exaggerated. However, where in the movie, there's potential for a sequel. The graphic novel paints this realization more as a bittersweet farewell. And that's it. That's really all there is to it. If N.D. Stevenson did make a sequel, I ultimately think that would become the sequel movie, or even like a show maybe. I would be curious if they even made a Nimona show, but like in the style of the comic and not the movie, because again, that kind of animation is not easy to do as a TV show. Look at G5 My Little Pony. But yeah, thank you for watching the Nimona video. Another Nimona video is coming, and before we get into that Nimona video, I just want to mention that I made a full playlist of all my Nimona videos, so if you would like to go see those, you can go, I will link it down below, and yeah, I'll see you all later.
None of this makes sense.
Look, boss, it's simple. If you like something, thumbs up. If you don't like it, thumbs down. Who has 4 thumbs and is really great at liking stuff?